Shall we begin?
So it begins.
And now it begins.
So it begins.
And so it begins.
Shall we begin?
It begins.
So, shall we begin?
So, it begins.
Shall I begin? Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Shall we begin?
Welcome back to the Fandom Collective again. It is the Rook's first time, number 10. Dude, I've been watching movies lately. I've been catching the heck up. Pretty good. Pretty good. I've been catching up now. No Country for Old Men is the next one that I'm doing. But what's funny is that I didn't want to get back into watching Cobra Kai because I love it, you know, and I stopped around season 2, the very beginning of that. But I just started to get back into it a little bit because everybody's talking about season 4 and everything. And then Angus is peer pressuring me again. And he's like, watch it. Okay, fine. I'll start watching it a little bit at a time. You know, try to do like one episode a week or something.
It's been 2 days. I'm almost done.
And it's like, damn it, I'm almost done through season 3. Like, gosh, dang it. But so I'm like at the part where Sam's like, you know, oh, I don't want to do karate right now. And they're like, what? No. So that's and where Johnny's like, oh, let's do triple K for the new karate thing we can do. He's like, KKK, really? It's just a little funny humor there with that. I love Johnny's computer lack of any skill with that. That's pretty funny with Facebook and stuff. It reminds me exactly of my mom. So that is pretty funny.
What's a Facebook?
Yeah, what's a Facebook? What's all that stuff? But I mean, the main thing that we're here for today, because we could talk about Cobra Kai all day, man. But freaking No Country for Old Men. That's one. I think this wasn't on my. I think it was on my list, but it was very low on my list when I first
been on
had
there
it.
for a
and
while.
then it was on my list, but it was never like one that I'm like, I'm gonna see it anytime soon type of a thing. It just looked like, I don't know. I had no impression of it really. But then this dude right here was trying to really peer pressure me. He's really into peer pressuring me into watching things. What's wrong with him? And he's like, yeah, you should really watch this, man. Just give it a watch. I don't remember if you actually tried to convince me of anything. You just told me to watch it. And I was like, okay. So it was, I was going to watch that this month. I was like, you know what? I'll just give that a try. I feel like I have no expectations for it at all. So let me just put it in and see how that is. And I fucking loved it. I wanted to watch it again right away so I can get a better handle on what happened in it. But I had to go to work, so I had to watch it the next day again. As if that's a problem. But that was like the first time I watched a movie in a while where I instantly am like, I want to see that again. Let me go again to follow that thread again. But so you've got a little history with No Country for Old Men. Want to tell us about that? And then we'll get into the movie and stuff.
Sorry, what'd you want from me?
I said you got a history with No Country for Old Men, right? Like
Yeah. I saw it as a kid. I was like 15, and I thought it sucked. I was like, that was boring as shit. But I was a dumb kid. And then working the used movie store, you had a lot of voodoo codes in the used stuff that never got used by the customers. So I really stocked up, and I kind of played out everything. And so I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll rewatch this. Had a bad impression.
Yeah.
And I was flabbergasted. I was blown away. I watched it probably like 5 times in 1 week. And it's on rotation every so often, depending on my mood. But yeah, it's I'm not a Coen Brothers fanboy at all. Like most of their stuff I don't like. Oh Brother Art, that was really great in this one.
Yeah.
Really hate Big Lebowski. Hate the fandom around it.
Wait, hold on. I forget. You hate the Big Lebowski too?
Yeah.
Yes. Fuck. Everybody loves that movie, and I'm just like,
the dude abides. Like,
I have never like I had to watch that, and there was only one cinema film related class in my college, and in that class we had to watch the Big Lebowski like for a couple days, and I'm just like, I have no idea why we had to watch that movie. I'm just like, yeah, he's tripping balls a lot and he's drinking a lot, and they're like, yeah, it's cool because it's almost like he's not the typical main character that you follow. And I'm just like, I don't care. I mean, it's fine, but that's what they're trying to do. But why am I watching this?
Yeah. Well, what's funny about it is John Goodman, like, he's good in it. but
Yeah.
the movie, I'm just like, what is the point of this movie?
Yeah, that's weird. Very weird. Real quick, Fallon, what's up? Dropping in the chat. What's up? She's like, Rookie watches movies. I know it's a new phenomenon these days. I'm trying to actually watch movies. Like a guy who wants to be a director and should probably watch some movies. So I'm actually trying now. I'm trying. And Flipped Out's in the house. What's up? He's like, yo, Rook, yo, Angus, how the hell are you? How the hell are you? Pretty good. Yeah, just shaved, so I'm looking sexier than ever. Well, while bearded boy over here, his little stubble.
I haven't shaved in going on 6 years now.
I haven't shaved since the dinosaurs roamed the earth 6,000 years ago.
Guy.
Yeah. Right, Kitty's in the chat says, hey, I've never actually watched this movie. I don't know if she's referring to Big Lebowski, but probably referring to No Country for Old Men. Well, right, Kitty. From one rookie to another, watch this movie. Watch it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna floor you.
Good.
It's amazing.
Yeah. What doing there? What? Right there. He says, I don't like Big Lebowski either. Yeah, bro. Phantom Collective is against Big Lebowski. No, I'm just kidding. But the majority of us, don't seem to like it. But that might be an idea for one of these days, Angus, where we should kind of go through some of the films that we don't like that everybody else likes. It's pretty popular. Yeah. Ghostbusters, Big Lebowski, even Spaceballs in a way. Yeah, Christmas Story. I love Christmas Story, but I can see why other people don't like it, especially if you didn't grow up with it. Spaceballs, even I love it, but looking back now, like if I were to watch it, a lot of the jokes are they're quite stale, and I'm disappointed. I'm like, man, I remember loving this, but it's like, it just not doing it for me anymore.
We can do hate content. Yes.
I guess so. And Fallon's never seen The Big Lebowski. Don't waste your time. We'll ruin it for you. That's for sure. This is a hate day. Yep. Oh, more than one day, my friend. Right, he says, well, I'm glad that you like No Country for Old Men, and yeah, I've never watched it. Maybe someday. Yeah, I recommend. Yeah, anytime soon. I mean, maybe you got to be in the right mindset for it. I'm not sure. How would you recommend people go about watching it? Because it's kind of a slower paced movie with it.
Oh yeah, it's like a 2.5 hour slow burn film. It's a neo-noir western. It's made in 2007. It's set in 1980 Texas, and it takes a lot of the western tropes and turns it on its head. And yeah, it kind of leaves you puzzled. It's got odd entrances of characters, like you feel like you missed something. Like, wait, who is this guy?
Yeah, no, I had that feeling when we're watching it. Angus and I were watching it at the same time, and I was just at one point, Woody Harrelson's in it, and I was like, was he in the movie yet? Like, is he already a character in the movie that I missed? Like, did I blink and miss him? Where was he? And it's like, no, that's his first scene, and it's like over an hour into the film. I'm just like, what's he doing? And he's not in there for very long. He's only in like 2 more scenes after that, and I was like, oh wow, okay. But it wasn't pointless though either. It was like still like a notable character in the film. And I was like, okay, wow, that's okay. Like this, like I was trying to guess where things were going in the story, and I didn't know what was going on. Like as far as like I didn't know. Like it didn't do the tropes I was expecting for most of them. So in that way, you could say it subverted me, but in a smart way. That's not, shitting on you for it. Essentially, like it rewards you for that you didn't know what it was doing. I guess.
I think we got some trolls in the chat, Rookie.
Oh yeah, right here.
Spaceballs was funny.
Spaceballs was funny. Spaceballs was awesome. Well, like I said, that's the main consensus. And like I said, I thought it was funny for the longest time too. But if I were to watch it right now and watch it, I'm sure that maybe 3 jokes would land and the rest wouldn't. I don't know. The whole yogurt. I hate yogurt. No, I think the comb the desert part is just kind of funny because it's stupid. And
it's funny because the blacks.
Shit. Yeah, we ain't found shit. Just that was kind of funny.
They got a pick because nappy hair. Get it?
Yeah. That's funny. I like the ludicrous speed, and then he crashes into the thing, and he's just like, smoke if you got him, and knocks himself out. That was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. There's little moments I like, little canned air. Anyway, different time, different day. on that stuff. No Country for Old Men. This one, I wish that we could have streamed it right, like talking about it right after we watched it, but our schedules would not allow that, unfortunately.
Your schedule.
Saw this last week. Shut up, my dude. Shut up, You're right, though. You're right. The demand for sandwiches is very high these days. So I've got a supply for the citizens of the United States. You know, it's what I do. But No Country for Old Men. So people that come in the chat as you come in, let us know if you guys saw it or when you saw it, because it's a interesting one. What year was it released? 2007. 2007.
One
around there.
Was the awards?
It was the main consensus around the film when it was released. Like if there was any, if you knew of any, like, you know, people's reactions to it, if they're like, oh yeah, that was good, or no, that movie sucked, or whatever. Because as far as I can tell, people always touted it as a really good film. But again, it's one of those ones that nobody like goes into any detail as to why or how or anything that happens in it. So I just was like, it's a good film because they say it is. I have no idea. And but then again, as I'm thinking about it, I don't know what I would reference from it to, like, you know, be a little hint from the movie at all as I'm thinking about it. Because it's just that it's the kind of one where you got to sit down and go more in depth as you think about it, I think. You know, it starts off with Tommy Lee Jones narration over it, talking about, you know, like how things were done back in his day, essentially, and compared to now, right? That's kind of the gist of narration.
I've not read it, but it's based on a novel, and the title is based on some poem. So it's like a twice reflective of other media film. They did take a few things out that you may read about on Wiki, but it's pretty faithful to the book, and I felt I had more to say.
No, you're probably trying to recall some of that stuff, but
yeah, as far as consensus with people, like, it came out when I was like a sophomore, so this is not a film anyone around me is gonna be watching. Like, it's not exciting, pew pew pow pow, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's not a shoot 'em up. It's not a, you know, oh, it's gonna have this huge climactic, huge battle in the end and everything. No, it's a pretty chill paced movie. Starts out with our main serial killer getting arrested, basically, and he's got a little air tank type of thing, which I don't know what it's called, but Angus says that's probably how they you know, kill cows or something to kill cattle to quickly get him over with. And he arrests them, takes him to the station, and I didn't see when on their first round, but on my second viewing I saw that he does slip the cuffs under his legs or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that he cuffed him in hands in front, and I was like, you dumbass, like that's kind of a dumb thing to start with. So I was going to critique that, but nope, further reflection. Nope, he just was able to slip out of that.
It's somehow, in the background while he's talking,
and he does wait for him to finish talking on the phone, and then handcuff, gets him to the ground, and the look on his face while he's choking him, I thought was kind of funny, just like choking the guy out. And I like the detail that, again, I didn't notice on the first time as much. I guess I didn't think about it. Like, he really messes up his wrists trying to strangle the guy with that. And, the cuffs were still on his wrists when he was strangling him. So it's literally all the pressure around his wrists. And I kind of like the detail, and they have him wash it off, of course. But it's like, yeah, dude, that would freaking, that's hurt. And that's just a detail that I think gets skipped in a lot of movies, like that don't show blood or something, or they forget that, oh yeah, when you have pressure on your wrists, it's going to hurt. So just a small praise there, just because I see people miss that in other stuff. So I like that.
Yeah, kind of thing. It kind of puts you in the head of this character from the start. Like, he's just like completely cold-blooded, but he kind of enjoys it.
Yeah, but he's not the typical villain that we see, or serial killer, where he's like, I'm just a super evil genius here, or I'm some crazy joker or something. He just seems like a casual guy who could be a really nice guy, but he just might also kill you. So in a way, he's like a joker, but he's not as goofy about it.
Yeah. See, when I see a movie like this, and then you tell me the mythos of Michael Myers is like he's death indiscriminate, and it's like future films of Michael Myers should feel like this movie. They don't. They hold punches. That's what I'm talking about with the whole child death thing with like some of these movies.
Yeah.
Where it's like they even like tease that in the new Halloween, and then he just like walks off. It's like, I'm not scared now. Like he's got rules.
He'll scare babies, but defend your house with a bunch of babies, and he can't get in. You'll be good. But what I liked, with the first, so he steals a cop car, which they explain, it's like in the 80s, like you said, so they don't have trackers, I assume, at that point for their vehicles at that time, right? Like they don't have that many satellites up for that kind of thing, or in the country they wanted to have a way to track the car.
Yeah, especially you're out in desolate West Texas, so you might find a city, but then you got 50, 100 miles in between the next one.
I gotcha. So he takes the car, he pulls a guy over, and the way that you put it to me was that he'll mostly kill people like get in his way, but this first guy wasn't in his way at all, really. Like he could have just had him go out of the car and steal the car and be gone, but he's just like, hold still, kills him. It's just like, oh wow, okay, you just killed that dude. All right, and he just goes and drives off like it's nothing, and like he had no emotion about it, but it wasn't like oh yes, I enjoy that I killed you. But like I feel like if he didn't kill him, it would still be in his character. Just it's hard to see. I almost want he's the kind of character that I want to see him in different scenarios. Like if he were to have somebody have a gun pulled on him and he doesn't have a gun, what would he do? Like how would he talk himself out of it or something? But
well, I mean, he just got arrested, so clearly like he'll comply with force pressed upon him, but he's always looking for a way out, so it's like he let the cop arrest him, get comfortable, and then like his back's turned, literally he fucking chokes him to death.
Yeah, that's true. And then he goes, or what's the next part? So it cuts from that part and goes to our boy, what's his name that's hunting the
Thanos. It's Josh Brolin.
Thanos, Josh Brolin. God, I keep on forgetting his name. Like, I keep on wanting to say
before
five
that,
other actors, and it's like, no.
Before that, it opens. This movie has bookends with Tommy Lee Jones talking about like his either directly or indirectly talking about like his perception of life. So the first part he's talking about being a lawman and how he's like, it's a generational thing in his family, and how used to lawmen would like ride around the country without a weapon on them. They didn't like holster a gun. And he's got this view that like things have gotten worse, that we're in this new phase of like the banality of evil, which is an idea that first came up with Nazi Germany, like the Nuremberg trials. They tried this one guy who was the not the conductor like on a train, but he essentially like orchestrated all the trains to ship the Jews everywhere to kill them. And it's like, well, he's just doing his job. He didn't like pull the trigger on anybody, but like how many deaths are on his hands? And that's where the idea of banality of evil comes from. And that's kind of present in this film.
It's like how could you be so comfortable doing all the like causing all these deaths without literally being the direct cause, but you help facilitate it and you wash yourself of it. Like I didn't kill him, so whatever. It's like that's wow.
Yeah,
and like you said, like that's more evil in a way than the guys that are trying to kill them personally, because it's like, well, at least they're doing an act of something rather than and they take responsibility for doing it rather than the guy who leads them to their deaths and goes, I didn't kill nobody, I'm not guilty. That's
and Jones talks about like helping prosecute some guy with his investigation, how like he's like, yeah, I didn't kill that girl out of passion. Like I just wanted to kill. If you let me go, I'll kill again. And he's like, I'm going to hell. I'll be there in about 5 minutes. And he's like, how do you fight? He's like saying out loud, like, how do you fight something like that? And that's like his whole problem. So that's his mindset at like the twilight of his career as a lawman. And now he's facing someone like Sugar.
Exactly. Think of the name of that, Sugar. Like, so it was based on a book. So I wonder how they came up with the name of Sugar. And don't they have a point where he's like, Sugar? He's just like, no, Sugar. Like, dumbass. And it's funny too if you think about sugar and then cocaine or something in the money and everything. It's kind of a loose tie into that. But anyway, yeah, I like that kind of concept you have there where, yeah, they used to be lawmen like that. And you're talking about when we watched it the first time, how he kind of views that it's a little, this whole thing seems so pointless. Like there's just this endless cycle of people killing each other over this kind of stuff. And it's like, you can arrest however many people you want, you can do whatever, but it always still keeps on happening this many years later. He's almost dead. lived his full life, and people still doing the same crimes, right?
Yeah.
Then
we cut to after Sugar's sickness, then we cut to Brolin. He's out hunting pronghorn.
Yep, he's able to snag one a little bit, and he's like, gets away, goes and checks it out. Now, you said that he hears gunfire, but I don't think he heard any gunfire. What he saw, because I didn't hear any in the scene, but what he saw was there was a limping dog with the collar and everything that was limping away, and he goes from where the dog was limping from, and then looks with his binoculars and sees the ending of the shootout from whenever that happened.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure if you rewatch it, there's like a faint moment with the sound design that's like you hear some gunfire.
I don't know if there was.
Because like a little detail that's always stuck in my head. I'm like, oh, okay. Like that's why he looks that way.
I don't know, like because he looks at the dog that's limping, and a dog has a collar and everything out in the West, out in the country, and it just seems like, why would there be that dog out there? And it seems like, he's lived there his whole life probably. I never seen just a dog limping around in there. So okay, let me go to where that was from and go there. So I think either way it works regardless. But just if anything, if there's both present, then two details that bolster it, and that's all I can think of really with that. And so he goes, sees a whole bunch of dead bodies over in the distance, and goes and checks them out. And there's one dude left. He's like, agua. And he's like, no, I ain't got no agua, bruh. Like, he's kind of not really caring about him at all. He's just trying to look for the money. He's like, they're probably the last guy standing, probably, because you're still here and barely alive and in your vehicle. So, so there's probably somebody else left, and was able to track him down to a tree, thinking, there's shade. He's a country boy, so he knows the area and what people would probably be doing in the heat. And, tries to stake him out a little bit. And, he's already dead. And he's got how much money was in the case?
I think it was like $2 million.
Yeah, about $2 million.
$2 million bucks in 1980.
Oh yeah, king of the world at that point. Curtis is heading back out to work, so just gotta say, have a good one. Glad to see you. Glad you've seen this great flick, Rook. Yep, thanks for stopping by, Curtis. I am knocking these suckers out. I am trying. Excuse me. Yeah, so he finds himself some money. So a good Samaritan would probably go and turn those into the cops, but no, he's good. He's like, I'm gonna go take this money. It's $2 million. I'm a country boy. Why not? He's gonna miss that all the way out here. Who knows? And what happened? What's the next scene after that?
He gets bothered. His conscience bothers him.
Does it go to him again, or does it go to Sugar? Or
no, he goes home with the money. He's hiding it. He's hiding a gun under the trailer, and his wife's bothering him, and he's like some banner about like, shut up, I'm gonna take you in the back and screw you. And and so you get this funny kind of like country bumpkin banner between him and his simple wife in the trailer. And then they're asleep, and he's like bothered, his conscience bothered about not helping that guy with some water. And so that's what takes us back to the shootout scene.
Well, right. But was there anything in between that where they cut to Sugar and then back to him? Because does it just go from him getting the money and then it's nighttime and he's bothered and does that again? Or was there another scene?
Yeah, he goes out there, and then later Sugar goes out there.
Because I don't remember if Sugar does anything between when he gets the car. I'm forgetting if he does or doesn't when he gets the car. No, you're right, because Sugar goes later. Yeah, so he goes back out. He's going to go. He thinks that the guy might be alive somehow, which you think he probably would have bled out. Even if you gave him water, still probably would have died from bleed out or something. But yeah, so he goes, and the guy's already dead. And as he's about to leave, he notices there's some people out in the distance. I can probably see him. He's trying to hide, but, oh shit, he's made out pretty much and trying to get away. And he ends up getting shot as he goes into a little pond or river thing. Dog chases after him. He smacks it with the pistol and is able to get away for now. But they now have his car, essentially. They know they can essentially find out where he lives with all that stuff. So he's got to get the hell out of there. And then Sugar arrives with two buddies, which that's the only real confusing part of the movie is like, where did these guys come from? and they seem to be acting like they're detectives and as if he's in charge or something. Like
There
like
was
the main
a
weird part.
scene. There was a scene we missed.
Yeah, so I thought so.
After Shigur takes that car and kills that guy with his air hose, he stops at the gas station.
Oh, that's when that happens. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, yeah, something happens before it's nighttime. I think that's what I was thinking. Yeah, which that was the main scene that I've heard of before I saw the movie was that coin scene. I've seen it in like movie reviews. People would have that scene of him with the coin and everything, and the way that it was presented from all these other people was that like he was tracking this guy down and he's got this coin or something, like, you know, some type of X-Men Magneto thing, and that's like, you know, and now you've got, you know, one choice, call it, you know, you will live or die basically based on this coin toss. And he's like, oh, I don't even know what it's for. He's like just asking him questions, you know. He's like, you know, how'd you get this living or whatever? He's like, oh, you know, me and my wife, whatever, her dad owns it, you married into it.
No, he's like eating peanuts. He just like goes like, what? Like
he's like, it was like, well, if you want to put it that way, he's like, there's no other way to put it, you little bitch, basically. That's how we were taking it. Like, he's like, nah, you're a little bitch marrying into this living you got here. Like, very disgusted with that.
Yeah, like yeah, for us, like where I'm at in life now, that like stuck out like a sore thumb this time around.
Yeah. Well, and the look on his face like went from casualish to I didn't like you before, but I really don't like you now. And like he started this whole conversation with him. I think it was because like the guy asked him, he's like, yeah, where are you from? Like he just asking
he's
him
kind of snooping, and so he's like,
and he was just like
the wrong guy.
Like you asking me a question like that? Fuck you. Like I'm gonna ask you questions. And it keeps on calmly asking questions. He's like, no, we got to close now, you know, whatever. He's like, what time do you close? And I don't know. We got to close now. He's like, when do you normally close? He's like, oh, when it's dark. Well, when it's dark. And he's like, is it dark? No, whatever. And you live out here. It's just like, oh shit. Like, ooh. I don't know if closing would save your ass really with this guy, with anything. But I get that. I understand that sentimentality. If you got a weird customer, you're like, we're gonna lock the doors now. Get out of here, please. I get that. It's like this guy's just being like, you know, just these simple questions are making him shake in his boots essentially. This guy right here, and you're out in the old West. It's not like, oh yeah, somebody's gonna hear you kill me. No, what's your wife gonna save you? Like probably not. You know, it's not likely gonna happen. And he's doing the conversation, and then he's just like, okay, heads. He's like, good call. All right, you know, and he's about to like put it in his pocket or something. Don't put it in your pocket. Don't put it with those other coins either. You know, because it's not. Because then it'd just be just a coin, which is just what it is. And he just leaves. It's just like, what the hell was that interaction? And what's funny is that, as far as I can tell, that scene almost has nothing to do with the movie other than just show that he does that coin thing. Yeah. But I'm glad it's in there anyway.
It's odd. It's like a Tarantino scene where it's like it didn't really help the plot. It just kind of like added personality.
It just like showed more character, I guess, which was fine. I'm glad it's in there. So, you know, hooray for that.
Well, like what I think it is because he says like, because he says, you know, do you know what year's on this coin? He's like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, for 22 years, this coin has been traveling to get to this point here where it's at. And he's saying like, and he's like, you know, don't do this or it'll just be another coin, which it is. And so you're kind of like life's random to this guy. There's no real point. That's kind of what I take away from that whole sequence. And also it's like, yeah, he's not a person that's just gonna like haphazardly kill everybody. It's not like a bloodlust, but if you tick him off or something, he'll like include you in his game of chance. He'll let the coin decide if you're worthy to live.
My cat's bugging the shit out of me. She's like scarring down.
You're Papa Cotton on Twitter? I thought it was Loose Asshole. Wookie.
I can't keep track of all these ones. Look. Okay, that makes sense.
Papa Cotton.
Sorry about that. My cat was bugging the shit out of me. with stuff.
Okay, yeah, it was Lou Sassel in a different name, like image. So then when I saw like Con Connections, I'm like, wait, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, I don't know. When people change their things, I can't keep up half the time. But yeah, so I like that little character moment there. And then we go to Josh Brolin, and he's getting gunned down by the people, but he gets away, which is good. But he gets shot, and he has to abandon his car there. And that's when we get Sugar coming there with two guys that are randomly with him. And they like, did it seem like they were detectives or something? Like,
I think they're probably from the stock guy later in the film.
which guy?
The same guy that's the water guy in Boba Fett and the dodgeball guy.
Oh. Okay, yeah, maybe. I don't know, because it's just because he kills them after, you know? And it's like the way they're talking to each other is as if they know each other. Like, it's not like they're random people or anything. And they're investigating a crime scene, essentially. Right? Like, because then the actual cops come there later.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
You know?
these guys aren't as bloated.
Now, did you have more to think about with that one? Because I mean, to me, this scene kind of goes into before I even saw this movie a long time ago. I was looking at like videos here and there and some little essays or theory videos, and people were saying like No Country for Old Men. Again, they gave like almost no detail about the film, but they were like maybe the cop is Sugar, but it's like shown in a weird way here, and it's like, you know, like maybe there's some sense to that. I don't know. Like and like you even said, like the rookie cop that's with him might, like, there's a theory that he doesn't even exist in the film. It's like just kind of his
I've never heard that.
or
That's just
something.
my theory.
Or that's your theory. Okay.
Yeah, it's like
and I kind of
like,
believe that too, because as far as I can tell, nobody really interacts with him specifically, and he's with Tommy Lee Jones sometimes, and then he's not. And it seems to be like when they'd be on duty together, and he'll be with them and then not with them. And it's just kind of like, what? So is that there?
Like
This
he's talking to his past self, his young naive cop self.
Yeah, and I mean, in a way, it, like I said, like when I heard the theory that like Sugar is the cop, essentially, like, you know, that seems weird. But I feel like the scene with the two detectives or whatever that's with him when they go check out the bodies and they just are randomly in there. I don't know. That's the main one that I feel could bring levy to that. But then also there's other points too, like when the cops go to Josh Brolin's house after Sugar already did. You know, Sugar sat down and had the milk and just sat there and watched the blank TV, just his own reflection. And then the cop goes there, sits down, does drink some of the milk, and sits in that same spot, that exact same.
I love
spot.
that. I love that scene because he, like, the milk's there and it's like it's sweating, so it's like he was just here and like, oh, we should call someone and be like, and what are we going to like report? Searching for a man who has recently drank milk.
That's probably the funniest line. Probably the funniest line in the movie. And if you think he might be constipated, so check the bathrooms. I don't know.
The way Tommy Lee Jones just, the way he states that line. Like, oh yeah, obviously this is the way we're going to call this in. Like,
yes.
this is the hot ticket to
man
search
who drink milk is on the loose. Yeah. But you see what I mean? Like, do you think that the Sugar and the cop could be the same?
No.
At all? Like, I don't know. Like,
because towards the end of the
some
movie,
of those scenes,
like they're together. They don't, like, Jones doesn't know her. Maybe he gets a hint, but he doesn't like play on it.
But you see the way that it's framed, they might not actually be there. Like, because you don't see Sugar after he enters the thing. He's not there after he enters. Was he just standing in the corner the whole time?
He's behind the door.
Yeah, so he's just standing in the corner the whole time. He's there, just chilling. Like, I don't know. That's weird if that's the case, because the cop, you know, Tommy just sat down there for a little while and it's chilling. Like, I don't know. They don't show what happens there.
Yeah, it's
with
just
that.
it's like that. I don't buy. It's the same guy.
Like the way that it's shot there, to me that tells me that it could be two different people just fine easily. That's more likely what it is, but weird filmmaking choices. Maybe it's the same dude,
Unless
and
the Coen brothers
he's
said
almost about to
exactly that.
face himself. Unless he's almost about to face himself or something. But I don't know. But you see, that's
You know
actually
what?
funny too.
I just watched Clone Wars with George Lucas commentary. Yeah, Attack of the Clones with commentary. Now I'm going to sit down because I've never watched No Country for Old Men with commentary. I'm going to sit down and watch it tonight.
Well, I wonder how much levity it is hearing what the directors have to say about it. Like how much, like, does it make something make more sense or less sense? Like, and does it really need to apply to the film? Like, do you believe in death of the author or no?
Death of the author.
Have you heard of that? That's a very common thing. So, like, J.K. Rowling's probably the best example of this.
Like she says intentions.
She says that Dumbledore was gay, but nothing in the movies say whether he is or isn't. It's like, well, he's just gay though. It's like, well, but like that's not really a thing in the movie, so that's just you saying that. He could just be straight or not.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't.
Given that, like, she's writing in like late 90s, early 2000s, most of these books with still somewhat like moral America Bible thumpers. People protest just because of witches and warlocks, despite fantasy. So she could have been holding her punches with some of that, but that was her intent at some point, maybe to like allude to that. So
no. So here's another one, just because this is a good topic you and I might have on a different day about what, like, death of the author or not. You should look that up as a thing to look into. There's probably videos on it that talk about death of the author. But like the creator of Dragon Ball literally has like made things happen and then forgot details or just didn't want to deal with it anymore and just took it out. And as far as in the thing, it makes no sense. But he's like, well, that's why I did that. And it's just like
the top video when I searched death of the author.
Don't say it's Lindsay Ellis.
Yeah.
Don't say it's her. Fuck. No, don't listen. Don't watch her video on it. Just watch. There's probably
I'm like 30 minutes of this fucking time.
I figure Wisecrack or somebody else that you like has made a video on it.
Wisecrack.
Or just look up an article about it or whatever or something, because I don't know. You'll find something. Okay?
Somehow I'm not finding Wisecrack. They haven't covered this topic. I'm like,
okay, I don't know. Dumbledore wasn't gay, only his wand was. Steven Seagal. Yeah, you never know. It's got a mind of its own. It's his other head, by the way. Exactly. But that's another conversation we should have in the future about that.
Yeah, let me research
especially when people mention George Lucas all the time. Like, he said this was this and that. Well, if the movie doesn't necessarily support that, then I don't really think that holds that much levity. I mean, you can know what his mindset was, but if it didn't come through in the thing, like if I said that character, that the people in Avatar, their skin is blue, if I were like, no, they're orange, and I'm the creator, it's like, no, they're blue though. Yeah, but I'm the creator, and I said that they're orange. No, they're not. So.
Lucas is a bad example because there's so much things pulled in regards to him in Star Wars where it's like, well, yeah, no, this is explicitly something he intended, or alluded to. That's not like explicitly stated. Like Mustafar, like it's very clear in the saga. Like, this is the last time they saw each other, was this duel and leaving him for dead. And the verbiage in episode 4, it's like, presence I haven't felt since. But it's open. So Disney's like,
that's what I mean. Where, like, if he says that it's this specific way, and outside of the movies, and then in the future, like, they make a movie where it's different than how he says it was, like, and the only time he says it is just him as the director outside of the movie. You don't have to adhere to what he said necessarily. Like, if it's in the movies, that's one thing compared to him just saying that's what it is. That's that's
the problem of changing hands with a property,
right? But I mean, in general, I feel like that's a thing, not just with directors specifically, because there's a whole team that helps create the project anyway, with writing it or editing things in or out. Like, what's in the final product is what's left essentially. So that might not even be what he wanted to have happen, but could happen, you know. Because if it was up to him entirely, doesn't he want to make these more than 3 hours long? Stuff like that. So he's forced to shave down his story. Stuff to think about with that, you know, true versions and all that. But No Country for Old Men. So what's funny is that we had a lot to talk about. We went into, after we watched these, we like go into Wikipedia and look about what other people were saying about these movies after they released and what was going on, and if there's any juice around it or anything, any weird theories people have as well. Like with Halloween, those ones were fucking funny as shit for their little theories. And with this one, yeah, there wasn't as much as typical. But where are we in the story now? Where we were at?
Let's see. So he got chased. Oh, okay. Here's the thing: is that whole moral dilemma. This whole movie is about morality and philosophy of it and stuff, and it turns all this shit on its head. So it's like Josh Brolin, Llewellyn Moss is the name of the movie. He makes a very hard, kind of like Old Testament God like judgment of that guy that's bleeding out in the truck. He's like, no agua, you know, and leaves him for dead. You know, he leaves him to the fate he created for himself. But then he feels bad about it. Like, well, let me show him some mercy before he dies. Give him some water. And that's what gets Shigur to start following him. So, like, you could argue
if he never went back, then probably would never have found him.
Yeah, because they would have never found. They would have never found the VIN on the door to find out where he lives.
But no, but they would have been able to track the money, though, right?
But they wouldn't know where to look for it.
Why not, though? I mean, they
would probably never go to his trailer park looking for him if they didn't know who he was from that truck VIN number.
Oh no, I see what you mean. Well, so yeah, because they do say
he's way out in the woods
because they say there's no, it's not pointing anywhere. They have to be within a radius for it to start beeping at all, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Okay, and I was getting the impression that you could be miles and miles away, and it'll kind of tell you where it might be. Or
yeah, remember, like he's driving around.
No, you're right. It doesn't tell you. It's not precise. It's just vicinity wise.
Yeah,
it's like a tracking. It's like a tracking fob, but it makes more sense in a way.
Yeah, you got to be like a few blocks away to like pinpoint it, and that's the whole thing. He keeps like trailing them, but it's because of that decision, which normally in a film would be like, oh, what a good guy. He like showed some mercy to this like villainous drug dealer.
So gets him fucked over though.
Yeah. And Shigur is like cold-blooded killer, but he's arguably the more righteous person because he like adheres to his philosophy. He's not wishy-washy.
He sticks to his morals. If there is
also, and we'll get to this later, but another thing that backs this up is when Llewellyn's waiting for his wife at the hotel to meet up to then fly her out somewhere far away and hide the money. He is getting hit on by this floozy at the pool. He's like, I got beer. And he's like, well, I know what beer leads to. And he's like, showing his ring. He's like, he's being a good, faithful husband. Well, if he would have just took her to her room and screwed her, maybe he would have never got shot and killed at the end of this movie.
Yeah, the Mexicans that are telling might not have found him right there. Yeah, he'd be, doing that stuff with the chick. And it's interesting how like these moral things are put to question, or their personalities put at question. And in a way, we're dealing with essentially a lot of different characters that have their own level of like bad, I guess, to them, or negativity to them. Like even the cat's trying to fucking attack me. I had the headphone string down here, and she's like scratching. And what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, except for Tommy Lee Jones's character, I don't think he does anything bad necessarily, but he takes it all very lightly, I guess. Like he did
tell that fib story about the guy with the ricochet and he can't lift his arm up, and because she asked him later, like, oh, that guy, and he's like, who? And he's like, well, I can't tell you it's true. I can't tell you.
He was kind of manipulating her. He was kind of manipulating her to trust him. So yeah, there's all these different shades of gray of bad, I guess, with these different characters. So, but they also have their own. in their own way something good or righteous or like honest, I guess. Instead of saying good, it's like honesty with them, like with the sugar. I'd say it's not even really moral. It's just he's just straight up honest. So it's like I don't know. There's something about that. But yeah. So Brolin is basically trying to be on the run. He's trying to have these $2 million, and he thinks he's being pretty smart about it. He's like goes to a hotel and tries to get 2 rooms. Essentially, he tries to hide the money in the vent and slide it to another one. And because he figures some people might be tailing him, and he thinks he's doing pretty good, but nope, they still pretty much find him there. So but he already was a little bit ahead of the game and was away, and he's spending a lot of the money as he's doing this, I guess, and he and just trying to get away from everything. And then when he thinks he's finally all good, he's like, okay, I'm at the hotel, it's all cool. He realizes that there's a tracker in the money. He's like, fuck. You'd think he would have thought about that, but
he actually doesn't until the second hotel in Mexico.
That's what I was referring to. I kind of blazed through those events with him specifically, where he's at the first hotel and then he goes to this. He gets found at some point there. He decides to go to another hotel, thinking he's not very safe there. And I forget, why does he decide to go to another hotel? Because he leaves way before Sugar is there, right?
I think he sees a truck and he thinks that. I think he probably misassociates that's Sugar, or maybe he just puts together like the details from getting chased that that's their truck. Like, I don't think he knows about Sugar specifically. He just knows he's getting tracked
by those other guys that shot him.
Yeah, and so he sees that out of nowhere late at night, figures they're going to ambush me, so he dips out. Okay. And just kind of coincidence, someone else that he's familiar with shows a tell, because Sugar's driving in something like innocuous that wouldn't key him off.
Exactly. So he goes to another one, thinks he's all good, and then he's like, I can't fucking sleep here. So he, finds the tracker, and then he's just looking at his door, and lo and behold, at some point, the lock gets popped off. And I know I'm kind of skipping a little bit. I'm just getting this detail around with it, because Josh Brolin's part is kind of, a big part of that story there. And this whole time, Sugar is after all this. And in my head, I'm kind of going, was this his money somehow? Because like the whole shootout had the one survivor and everything, and this whole fight. And it's like, is Sugar like a gang boss? Like what is his whole thing here? Like, why does he want the money?
I think he's hired because later with that stock guy in the like office building that was dealing with Woody Harrelson, it's like they're trying to figure out where the money is, and so they've hired multiple people to try to track it down, and that's like an insult to Sugar.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, that's why he kills that guy in the office.
He's competition. Okay, and the office. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense now that I think about it. I didn't really get that connection necessarily.
But he's also out for himself. He's like double dealing essentially. He's backstabbing all of them people.
Okay, that makes a little more sense now. Because to me, he was just like kind of a random player in this, wanting the money badly. But I'm like, but he acts like it's his money practically. So what? That kind of threw me off a little bit. But yeah, if he was like hired, one of the people for hire, that makes a little more sense. That makes more sense. And then having the other guy, hire somebody else. Yeah, okay, he's not going to like that shit. So with his crazy mindset, he'll kill him. That makes sense. It clears up a little bit for me, honestly.
Yeah, no, I love all these little details that like, it's not like, it's nothing that like, they're like, it's not really a sleight of hand. It's just like, you're so focused on this main like cat and mouse that you like miss like, wait, what?
There's a lot to focus on in this. That's what I like about it. As quiet as it is, as slow as it is, there's so much that you're paying attention to that you could lose detail. Like you're going, okay, I'm holding on to this, holding on to this, holding on to this, and you just missed something else that went right over you, and you didn't even realize it until it's too late. It's like, oh shit, it's already gone. Okay. But yeah, so he ends up he gets a ends up getting in a huge shootout with Sugar, and he's tries to jump out of the building, tries to get away, and getting away a little bit, but he actually is able to, through a reflection, see Sugar and get a shot on him. And that was something that really delighted me, not because Sugar got shot necessarily, but it was more that like he's not invincible. Like he seems to be presented in a lot of these movies when they show like a super calculated villain or a serial killer, like they are like immune to pain. Like even if they get shot, they're like, I'm fine, I'll still kill you like a robot. And it's like, no, he retreats and heals himself.
Well, it's not just that he healed himself, but he fucking what a great distraction to then go steal the medicine. He fucking blows up a car right in front of the pharmacy and then just like waltzes in where everyone's like trying to figure out what's going on.
Yep.
Steals lidocaine and shit, and I assume antibiotics and saline and stuff. Right,
hello there, Sherry.
Yeah. What's up, Sherry? Breast Day. Timothy.
Hello there, Timothy. Good seeing you, brother.
Wow, what a great audience.
Yeah, what a great audience, everybody. Did you hear this one? Did you hear about this one? No? Okay. But yeah, so I like that little shootout. I liked he does a little explosion to get his medicine, and he has to heal himself. And it was like, okay, he is human. He can be damaged. He's got to take time to recover himself a little bit. He's got to be able to pay. That's the thing too. He's crazy, but he's got to be able to blend in enough to society to not be spotted out. Hey, that's the crazy killer. Get him, And so he's able to get around town that way. Essentially, I guess he can put on enough of a thing.
How cool is the silencer on his fucking shotgun?
That was cool, but I still feel like the silencers in general are extremely over exaggeratedly quiet. But that's like a small nitpick to most movies that do that. But yeah, that was cool though. It's just like I liked when he shot Woody Harrelson, because it's just like, hey man, we can make a deal and stuff and get money. He's like, okay, phone rings, and he just kills him as it's mid ringing. He was like, oh shit, I wasn't really expecting him to just kill him. That'd be a little more banter. Nope.
I don't know what it's supposed to sound like. I'll look this up later, but I'm looking at pictures of shotgun silencers, and one of them looks a lot like the one we see in the movie, but most of them look like these like weird bricks, like kind of like the top slide of a pistol, where it's like rounded on top and then like squared bodied. Yeah.
But I guess I mean, like, even pistols in movies, when they do the silencer, it's like you're 10 feet away from me and I shoot somebody and you're, it's like a tiny little thing. But I think in like a real silencer would still be like it'd be loud enough to hear, but condensed, but still.
Oh yeah, no, it does sound.
It's like that. To me, that's just a tiny nitpick for all movies that have that, because it's like it's not like a super ninja weapon, really. It's a gun, it's not. It's like I throw a grenade and you're not looking at the grenade and it blows up behind you and you're just like, smells like fire, like you didn't hear it at all or something. And be like, no, it's behind you, what are you talking about? There's a grenade silencer on it. It's like, no. Karen's in the house. I'll need to add Karen stuff to my. I'll need to add Karen things to my StreamYard so we can say, I'm sorry, your name is Karen.
Oh, exciting stuff! If you don't follow me, I got on your computer. Should be.
Oh yeah, you can play. You can play. You want to show them your lights?
Yeah, I mean it's nothing special right now, but I got
fuck that.
Light strip, and I got these lighty bars.
Yep, Angus is getting all upgraded now. He'll actually have technology and not need me to reparate him. We'll be ending that agreement soon.
We'll just alter
retweak it a bit, huh? Yeah.
Pray don't alter it any further.
Pray don't alter it any further. Yep.
It's time to party. Woo!
Oh yes. Karen says, no, you don't need to add any Karen things, Rookie. Okay. We'll see.
Yes, we did.
But yeah, so this whole time, Tommy Lee Jones's character is trailing them, trying to figure out where he's trying to find Josh Brolin before he gets killed by Sugar, essentially, knowing how these things kind of end up. And Sugar is a country boy. Like, I assume they kind of know each other, or know, like, assume that the Tommy's character like is aware of him because he's the sheriff of that town, essentially.
Well, because they ask him something, it's like, oh, that's the Will and Moss truck, and it's like, you think he'd be one to like be doing this stuff?
Sounded like he's like,
The
nah,
drugs?
not really.
He's like, you can't ever say, but no, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, and getting in over his head, he tries to convince the wife to help find him or lead him to whatever, so he's not doing something too stupid and all that. And he seemed to really, he seemed to really understand how they work. Like, you know, he's saying the story to her, like, you know, he's been through this so many times with people. Is like, you know, I might not be able to convince you to tell me where he is, but maybe you care about him enough that you'll tell me something soon. So just leave you with this and let you trust me, and it's up to you, essentially. And I kind of like that little detail. It wasn't like, you need to tell me where he is right now. You know, come on,
Where
bitch.
is he?
Where's the trigger? Where is he? Where's Josh Brolin? Where is he?
Yeah. Oh,
Just Jedi Bill.
more meta, but one of the things I love about this film is Brolin is a connective tissue to Infinity War, because this movie, No Country for Old Men, is a nihilist film. It takes all these ideas of morality, like I said earlier, and turns it on its head, and it's like, wait, these like good decisions are like what fucks all these people. And then, you know, he plays the villain, he plays this Shigur kind of devoted to this obscure off-center view of the world in Thanos.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool that he like flips around,
makes it perfectly balanced.
this whole thing should be.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, as far as commentary on it, like, you know, I could just go through the events a little bit more, but I don't know, like I feel like we've discussed quite a bit of what we wanted to say about it in general. Was there some more stuff that we had? I'm trying to pull some of our conversation from it. I mean, it's just the again, I like how the lack of music throughout the majority of it.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
throughout a lot of the scenes sets the tone, like really funny. There's a lot of funny interactions with some of the people, like with the sugar and the chick at the desk or something. He's like, "Where is he?" He's like, "I can't tell you that information, sir. Where is he?" And I said, I can't tell you that. Where is he? Are you deaf, boy? Like some shit. I told you.
He hears someone in the bathroom. He hears someone in the bathroom and says, like, you know, you've already seen what this guy's willing to do for nothing just to take your car. And
yeah,
it's just like, oh, you're so lucky someone else is here that could complicate my main focus of finding Will and Moss. Otherwise,
he leaves the room looking at her like, I could just so easily kill you, bitch. You know, fuck you though. All right, I'll leave.
I see how it is, Jedi Bill. No, howdy do, Angus.
No, howdy doody do.
Screw the black guy. I see.
Yep, he couldn't see you there. But so then there's like that little interaction. There's I thought it was like, you know, small details of like they show a cat at the second hotel that Josh Brolin goes to, and in your head you're like, oh no, is the cat gonna get killed in this thing somehow? And then you go to the front desk when he's on the run, goes to the front desk and you still see the kitty there, it's alive. And then he just runs away.
I wasn't worried. See, that's a you thing. I was not worried at all about the cat.
It's like, you know how people like in Alien is always like the cat. No, they are glad the cat was safe. You know, in all movies they have the dogs, like, you know, oh, the dog outruns that explosion, yes, it's safe.
No,
you know, it's
the
like...
worst is signs with Mel Gibson, where it's like you hear the dog like arr, 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 and all of a sudden you hear it's like just fucking silence. It's like,
yeah,
oh no, like they're
no,
here.
You got the dog. No, in Jurassic Park 2, the T-Rex eats the doggy house. Fuck, like, and that's not fun. I don't like that. So that's a funny little detail with the cat, because it's just not there to survive.
Sugar tries to shoot that like pigeon or whatever when he's
driving. Yeah, that was funny. I laughed. I was like, what the fuck was that for? Because there's like, he's just on the bridge, and then he just gets closer, tries to shoot it. It was just like, what the hell was that for, you asshole?
Like, practice.
Just nothing. just on what felt like trying to kill it. Fuck you. It's just like, okay. So he has hobbies. He likes to shoot some things for fun. You know, who knows? No, and then like I said, I don't have too much more to comment. You already mentioned he, got killed. He probably should have banged a chick. would have been a good idea. And then the wife is left.
This movie gives you the reality. It's
red
not
pill.
sugarcoating anything. It's like, oh yeah, infidelity, your wife sins. Like this movie's like, maybe it could save your life, cheating on your wife.
Yeah, if there's a 1% chance it could save your life, you should
Gotta take it as an absolute certainty.
Yes. You never know.
Bringing in some Snyder cut wisdom.
You never know. Get some Snyder people to become red pilled, you know?
Yeah, somehow this gets like put in like the data of the stream. It like codifies Snyderverse at like the end of the script, and then like somehow gets searched out by these Snyder weirdos. Like, oh, they said Snyderverse. We gotta see if they said good things or bad things. Like,
they watch the whole video.
Well, the watch time
over an hour in. Over an hour in. My God. Oh, that'd be funny.
I hate the Snyder tards.
Yeah, but anyway, let's try to close out here pretty soon. So we go to one of my favorite parts. It's the ending ish, or toward the ending with Sugar. So the wife is left from Josh Brolin. Yeah, he got killed with that. Sugar
mom died too.
Yep, mama died as well. She's already dying essentially. Throughout the film, it seemed. And yeah, she died. In between, there's some time that goes by. She's at a house by herself, and she walks into a bedroom, and there is Sugar just sitting there. And she's like, "Oh, oh my!" She didn't seem all that surprised though. She's like, "Yeah, I probably thought somebody was going to come around here one of these days." And she's like, "You don't have to do this." He's just like, "You always say that. Everybody always says that shit." And yeah, she's like, well, "What?" He's just like, "You always say don't have to do this." Like, you could tell for him, he's kind of frustrated that all these people he kills like says similar things all the time. And it's like, can you be creative? Can you do something new? I don't know. It's like a little different. And then he's like, okay, I'll show whatever you could call my version of mercy, and I'll flip the coin. And I want you to call it though. All you have to do is call it for me. She's like, I ain't calling nothing. You don't gotta do it at all. It's just a coin. He's just like, fuck. And you don't hear anything. You just cut to him walking out of the house, and it's like, oh yeah,
checking his boots.
She's probably dead. He goes in his car, la-di-da. Kids are having fun, nice day, and then somebody crashes into him at random, and he's kind of fucked up. He's got a bone sticking out of his arm, sir. These kids walk up to
what's
him.
funny too is they show the detail. He's got the right of way. He's got the green light, and so someone T-bowed him not paying attention.
If somebody else wasn't paying attention, he was being a good driver, and and then so he gets his arm kind of fucked up. He goes to the sidewalk, and these kids pull up, and they, you think, oh no, is he going to kill the kids? And it's like, no. He's like, how much for your shirt? Which is also funny because Josh Brolin had a scene earlier where he paid some people for a shirt as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Funny little similarity with it. He wanted to look like a Mexican to cross the border to Mexico. And
he had his liver was bleeding out. That's why he was trying to cover it up.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
Well, still, and and then with Sugar, he's like, okay, I need a shirt, and you're like, well, what does he need with like a teenager shirt? He's got his freaking bone sticking out of his arm. Sorry, as that kid puts like 3 times. But I thought it was hilarious. I was just saying that.
You gotta think when you're a dumb kid, it's like nothing happens in this little shit town, and then like, oh wow, some stranger gets hit, and
he's got a bone sticking out of his arm.
It's like, holy fuck, mister.
Gosh, golly, mister. Worst thing that happened here was Mr. Willem stubbed his toe. That's all we got. So there we go. So amps that up a little bit. And then he's like, all right, how much he doesn't just say, give me your shirt. He's like, how much for your shirt? Like, I'll just give you my shirt for free. He's all bloody and shit, just reaching in for money, pulls out, I don't know, like a 50 or 100 something. I don't remember what it was. And for those days, that's a lot of money. And so it's just like, all right, he gets a shirt, ties up his arm. You guys didn't see me. And just walks off. It's just like, okay, that's it. That's the end of his part of the film.
Cut to black.
Yep.
Oh no! Actually,
there wasn't that. It goes to Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy
next,
Jones,
and then
cuts to black.
Then it's over. But it's
like
just
he's just kind of pondering the dreams, and then he's just kind of like staring off, and then black.
Yeah, because that was one case he didn't solve. He's just like, yeah, I just don't really, whatever. So like you said, he feels kind of like this is all pointless because it just always happens. It just always happens.
Yeah. So the way I read this, I mean, one reason I think that this whoever his like dumb kind of Enos sidekick is not real, that's like his younger self in his head, is like the title's No Country for Old Men, and he's an old man. He's at like the twilight of his career.
Yeah.
And he's facing like something he doesn't understand. And he like when he goes to investigate, he like it's a shootout where vehicles were, but he gets a horse to go out there. And it's just like he's always behind the times. He's always behind the villain, he's always a step behind, or something. He's just lost. He has no real like intellect with this guy.
He's really just piecing together what happens. He's not even really that eager to stop them. He's just looking at what happened, essentially.
Yeah. And the other thing too, the important thing about the dreams at the end, it kind of matches the intro discussion that he has about the world, how he sees it, is like he sees the world in this juvenile black and white, and how it's just like all of a sudden he thinks the world's gotten screwed up, and crimes are passionless and impersonal and just like monstrous. But he goes and visits his uncle, and he's talking about, back in like 1908, this one guy, this like gang came up to his house and just shot him on his porch and let him bleed out and die, and went on their way. And it's like, what was the point of that? He's saying like, this shit's been happening the whole time, you just weren't aware, and like you're not facing anything new really. It's just like maybe
the same stuff again, just new skin, essentially.
And when he retires at the end, his dreams, I was reading like, if you lose money in a dream, then it's like money's not something you covet very much. It's not that important to you. So he loses money from his dad in a dream, so money's not important. It's not his passion or something that drives him. And then like his dad leads him in the other dream with like a horn and goes ahead through a mountain pass in the snow. So it's like he's following in his dad's footsteps, and he's content essentially at the end of this movie living a lie. Like his perception of the world is the way it is. What he was fearing that he was facing is not reality. He's like buying into a lie, into retirement. And that's why he's retired, because like he can't really face the real world. I think it's such a good nihilistic film. I love it. Like this, Infinity War, and Dark Knight with Joker. Those are like, as far as my knowledge, the best nihilist films. Just kind of like confront you with this very hard look that life is meaningless, that things are random.
That's like, it's not always purposeful. There's not always substance to everything. And so it's just like, damn, all right. And No Country for Old Men, the older you get, the more out of place you feel in the world, essentially, as it's changing. But is it changing much, or just changing skin? Like that's kind of thing. Didn't we talk about that too with like with the whole idea of with religion, how they have like the blood of Christ and the crackers and crap? Like like it's like, instead of using real sacrifices anymore, they still have the concept in mind, but it's not.
It's still a blood cult. It's just they're not. They changed it from like, oh yeah, we got to kill all these sheep and pigeons every day, to like, oh, now we just symbolize the one lamb sacrifice of Christ. Right. And I get it, but it's like, you're still just a blood cult, like.
Right, and at heart, you're not as hardcore as before, but still it's around. Which it kind of,
if anything, it's a soy boy weak sauce version.
It's like they do that in like a South Park episode with Britney Spears. Essentially, they reveal like that South Park in America is like this huge cult of like, they used to sacrifice people in the old days, but they're not as vicious about it these days. They just select a young girl around 16 and make them really popular and famous for a while, give them all this attention and stuff, and then drive them to kill themselves for sacrifice, like for the harvest. It's just like, what the fuck? But funny little way to think about it, because like we're just more civil about it. We're not going to kill them ourselves. We're just going to make them kill themselves. Essentially, it's just like, oh my god,
That sounds funny.
awful. It's awful, but it's kind of an interesting view about it, because like, we haven't changed much. We're just less, we don't want to get our hands dirty. Really, is the thing. It's just like, oh yeah,
we're just as savage at heart. It's just like no one wants to do the dirty work themselves.
Yeah, no one wants to have the blame or the responsibility. So there you go. But No Country for Old Men. Yeah, I am so glad I saw that. It's funny going through these films and everything. The other one I saw was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh,
yeah, that's because I saw a couple things and shows and everything. I'm watching stuff this month, guys. And no, it's fun going through them, but it's also fun because the conversations about them have already been talked about at length by other people. And it's like, oh yeah, I just discovered this new movie. It's like, oh, you mean the movie that everyone on Earth has seen but you? Yeah, it's cool. Let me tell you about it. It's like,
yeah, no, this is what's fun though. It's like
funny.
It's kind of that way for me with comics. Like, for me, it's like, oh, Planet Hulk. Yeah, everyone knows that for like 15 years. It's like, well, it's new to me. I mean, I know hints of it, and I know it's been adapted to a cartoon, and they've tooled it for Ragnarok. But
yeah,
shit like that's fun. Or just like, sure, there's new things to read, but like, there's so much new shit for someone that hasn't seen it yet.
Well, and that's the thing too. We have like a limited lifespan, and it's like we can't just read or watch everything. So, and now we make things faster than ever before. So the amount that's available now, piling on top of what was already here before, is just ever growing all the time. So it's like, I do like that there's some of those. I feel like it's like like a bunker or something where, we're alive now. We haven't read these things that everybody else knew 15 or more years ago. And then it's like, oh yeah, oh wow, look, there's some left. It survived. Let me look at that for the first time. Wow, a whole new one. It's a whole new thing from 20 years ago. But yeah, that is pretty much all I gotta say about it. Anything else you got on No Country for Old Men?
No, just top 10 film experience. It's great. It's life changing.
I like it. I feel like I'll like this even more as I get older. Like right now,
yeah.
I like it for my own reasons, but I feel like as I get older, I'll be able to connect a little bit more with some of the stuff that happens.
Yeah, just the sentiment or something. Yeah, no, like, it doesn't compare, but going into this just from the start, I'm like, see, this is why I like Book of Boba Fett. The last episode's ending stupid, but it's like, you can kind of see what I mean. Where it's like, they're going to slow burn. Yeah. This is way out of the Disney formula of like, we gotta do it now and pew pew pow pow.
Yeah, I see what you mean. They
stuff
still
everywhere. It's like they still
need
time.
They need a lot of work to make the slow pace work well, in my opinion. But yeah, they're trying. It's their version of a risk, I guess.
Yeah,
but
I guess I would compare
still not risking other stuff too.
It's kind of like the reason I like Birds of Prey is because despite the creative team behind that film and meddling with like trying to undercut everything that made these characters sellable for years with like the sex appeal on top of character depth, is that it feels fresh. It feels like not just another comic movie. It feels like an amateur attempt at like a Tarantino film. So it's like nowhere near his level, but it's like trying, and that's refreshing in a time where it's like we got to make franchise. We gotta have like 20 slots ready for the next 5 years, and that movie felt fresh in that way. So I like it for that, despite its flaws. Same with Boba Fett, horribly flawed. I mean, we've talked at length about like they've got things here, but it doesn't make sense how they delivered it, But it's a narrative risk, especially in between Mando and stuff. And so yeah, it's like anything. If I can get close to something like No Country for Old Men, like you're trying to like break out of just
like if I were to use a scale of closeness, it's like, okay, level 1 is the like No Country for Old Men. Disney is usually at like 100 with all the crap that they pull out. Typically, Book of Boba Fett is probably like in the right now in the 50 area, and with some work might be able to get closer. Is
Yeah.
where I think it is. Like because it is so much slower paced compared to its normal stuff. So there's that. But again, there's so much things that are dumb to me. The dumbest thing again was like the Wookiee, I'm gonna kill you by opening you up and throwing you around and not have I was seen with a gun and clearly I have a knife that can poke you, but no. And then the people that come in, we don't have guns either. We're just gonna, come in and try to poke you as well as like oh. And then the huts go up to the door in the desert. It's like, how far is that for you to go? Those people, I don't believe those people can carry you that fucking far. No way in hell. And then to go,
Dude,
peace,
oh my
bro.
God.
It's like, no. And then the Rancor is like, no, they're really nice. It's like, yeah, maybe, but like, do you have to make everything like, no, they're not really the bad guys. We're Disney. Everything's cute and nice. It's only when you're mean that they're mean. It's a little annoying with some of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's very
But
retcon.
it was the whole like hut detail that dragged them however far, at least from the town to there, if not further.
Yeah.
It made me think of when I was in medic training in Texas.
You had to haul some fat huts across the desert.
No, like, yeah, I talk about exhausting. Like, you get like the immensity of those two carriers on the litter and however many people are under there carrying it. Fuck that. Like, we did these drills where it's like, I don't know, say a half mile or something. You have to like, you do it like, all right, this guy's a casualty for this round. And so they get to be on the cot and you get to treat them and like, put the IV in them and wrap them up and whatever, put a tourniquet on them, put them on a stretcher. And it's like, you got teams of 4 carrying them half a mile. And it's like, we're all like every like 20 feet swapping out. It's like, oh my God, my arm's killing me. Like,
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like if they at least had like an army of people to swap carrying them, I guess I can buy that. But then I go, why aren't you hovering on something? And then I go, this whole concept is dumb to me with it. It's just in general, they like if Boba just went, hey, look,
why did it just have a sail barge?
No,
like
not
Jabba.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's like, hey, why don't Boba just go? Who's gonna block his headshots on the huts? Like, would he just jetpack, kill the huts right there? Like,
You've
I
been
don't
a
know. That's
problem
to me, like,
times.
it's just things like that are like, this is really dumb, No. So let's just end it there because I can bitch about that tomorrow when we talk about Boba Fett tomorrow. So yeah, peace, guys.